It's time to get your morning started with the news you need to know.
News update.
This is what's trending with DJ and PK. Hashtag Utah Jazz.
It feels like he's finishing way better at the rim, playing in straighter lines, not trying to bait for fouls as much. But the free throw line's been a big part of his life this part of the season. But it's because he's not fishing for fouls. He's just using his athleticism and his burst, and he's playing in straight lines. You know, I think it's 16 shots, 5 of them are threes. Maybe you'd want him to shoot 1 or 2 more. But in general, we want Keontae to be somebody who's putting pressure on the rim. He's making better reads in the half court. Mostly, to me, it's what's happening around the basket is why he's scoring better. He's not settling too much for jumpers.
There's Will Hardy talking about Keontae George. Why has he been a better player? Where's the improvement? Why is the improvement? At the free throw line, PK. Easy points, and he's getting there, and he's making them.
Well, I like the idea that he's not settling for jumpers and threes, maybe 1 or 2 more. I thought that was counter to what we've been told. You must jack up threes at all costs. Fast break, forget that. Run to the corner and launch. And Will Hardy is saying, and I feel like I'm 41 years old again.
Nice. Keontae averaging about 9.5 free throws a game. We'll see how many he gets in Detroit. Detroit off to a 5-2 start. The Jazz and the Pistons playing tonight. You'll hear the game on 97.5 The Zone. Pre-game at 4, tip-off at 5. An early game, PK will free up for the rest of the night to go. What was the line you were going to use? The light, Trip the Light Fantastic. There it is, yes.
Not on Wednesdays. That's only on weekends, buddy.
DJ and PK.
Hashtag NBA.
Jose got free. 3-ball right wing. Go!
Jose.
He rattled it in from the wing.
Draymond sides out with a dribble, rips the ball through, throws it out to Podziemski, takes the 3-ball, hits the 3-ball. Brandon Podziemski's first made 3 of the night. Puts him in double figures and gives the Warriors a 102-88 advantage.
Shea, stutter stepping, pulling up. Left side angle three-pointer is on the way. Money. Cha-ching Thunder money ball. Number 14 tonight. The 4th by SGA, who now has 30. As OKC goes up 8, their largest lead, 94-86. Have outscored the Clippers by 9 in the third after outscoring them by 9 in the second.
10 seconds remaining in the game. Giddey drives left, hangs in the air, gives left corner, Vooch for 3. Bullseye! Bullseye! Bulls take the lead! 3.2 seconds remaining, fourth quarter, and the Bulls have their first lead of the night.
The Bulls were down 24 points. Didn't matter. They came back to beat the Philadelphia 76ers 113-111. Matchup of the two teams are off to the hottest start in the East. They were both 5-1, and now the Bulls stand alone atop the East at 6-1. Easily, PK, the surprise story of the NBA season here a few weeks in.
Are you asking me or telling me?
I believe that to be true. I was curious if you agreed. So a little bit of both. I am telling you and wondering if you believe it also.
I suppose so, but I don't know that there's such a thing as a surprise story after 7 games.
It is early. There's no doubt about that. Josh Giddey, massive game for the Bulls. Maybe that'll be the trade that helps both teams. Obviously, it helped the Thunder win the championship last year. We'll see if the Bulls can ride Josh Giddey to something that they haven't been able to do in, 15 years since they've been in a conference final? But it's early. Warriors beat the Suns 118-107. Jimmy Butler left the win with a back injury. Yeah, they're good when they have Jimmy Butler and Steph Curry, but how many games are they going to have them together? There it is, PK. Got our first guy checking out with an injury on an older team. It was bound to happen.
Is it a long-term injury? I have no idea.
Back injury. I'll bet a lot of people would say that. How bad is that? How long is that going to last? They seem to be pretty tricky to predict. As expected, the Thunder keep winning there. 8-0 now. They beat the Clippers 126-107. And the Spurs hope for their new arena got a boost. Voters approving a plan to commit up to $311 towards the new downtown arena. The Spurs have committed $500 million. This will be the Spurs' Like fourth different arena in 40 years, maybe 45.
Who's committing $311?
The voters approved $311.
$311?
$311 million. 311. Yeah, I got you 311. That's one NBA ticket, depending on where you want to sit. $311 million. And the Spurs have committed $500. No, $500 million. So from the Hemisphere Arena to the Alamo Dome to whatever it is they're calling they're playing in now to now another one. Here we go. DJ and PK.
Hashtag college basketball.
Cameron Boozer, plenty of time, 9 to shoot. They sag off of him defensively. He can shoot it from out there. Crossover, he'll drive instead. Kick to the right. Harris, a ball fake and a three. Wow! He made Mark look silly. And it's 26-17. Cameron Boozer, he's got it 15 feet out on the right. Faces up. Drives Cody into the paint. Going to work. Steps through. Count it. And a foul! Cameron Boozer taking over. And the lead grows to 13.
Cameron Boozer, 15 points, 13 rebounds. What a Carlos Boozer's kid, projected to be a top 3 draft pick. Didn't shoot it very well in the first half, PK. 0 for 8, but 3 for 4 in the second half, and he went to the line again and again and again. So he finishes with 15 points, 9 to 12 at the line. And Duke beats Texas 75-60. You going to be watching Duke and Cam Boozer the way you watched Rutgers last year?
No.
More known quantity?
I mean, not
don't feel like
not
you have
for
as
the
many
same
questions
purposes.
To watch one of the top 3 picks?
Because I don't think the Jazz are going to get it. But I mean, I'll watch just for entertainment purposes, as I did last night. I don't. If Keontae continues to do, I don't see that they would be in that position.
Win a few too many games? Not catch a break in the lottery?
Yeah. So it's 2 different reasons. I mean, I've been watching Cameron Boozer for a couple years now, and so so I watched a good portion of that game. It wasn't really the hockey game was over, and so that worked. But yeah, I mean, I just watch him to watch him, but not watch him to try to get exposure. I hadn't had exposure to Ace Bailey. Whereas Cameron Boozer, I've seen him play, these things that they do at the high school level and all-star games or whatever you call them. I've seen him play several times. But Bailey was, I got to find out who this guy is here. And I've already got the exposure to Boozer, and I just don't know the Jazz are going to be that bad unless they
catch a break
really
in the lottery.
Make an effort to sit guys. Yeah, well, sit guys, and then they told us that they're not going to do that this year.
Local college hoops, Arizona State beat Southern Utah 81-64. And West Coast Baptist, fresh off the beating at Weber State, went to UVU and took another one, 116-35. I don't know what you get out of it.
Yeah, I mean, they've got that rivalry. You got West Coast Baptist, East Coast Baptist. It's been a long-time rivalry here. People have died.
Utah Tech hosts Bethesda in their home opener in St. George tonight, 7 o'clock. DJ and PK.
Hashtag NFL.
Trades, and more trades. Former Weber State Wildcat Rashid Shaheed sent by the New Orleans Saints to Seattle for 2026 4th and 5th round picks. Look at him climbing in the standings. Seattle right in the thick of that NFC West race. They were a 10-win team a year ago, the one 10-win team that didn't make the playoffs. And now they had Rashid Shaheed, had a deep threat and special teams threat, depending on how they want to use him. Raiders trade Jacoby Myers to the Jacksonville Jaguars in exchange for 2026 4th and 6th round picks. Myers had asked for a trade a while ago, so he's accommodated. The Jets send their star corner, Sauce Gardner, to the Colts for 2 first-round picks. They send their defensive tackle, Quinnen Williams, to the Dallas Cowboys for a 2027 first-round pick, a 2026 second-round pick, and defensive tackle Nazi Smith. So the teams that are out of it, PK, are getting draft picks wherever they can for whatever veterans they're willing to part with. Making moves.
Jets got some other guys if they want to do it, yeah.
Tom Brady says his dog is a clone. He said in a statement from a company he's an investor in that his dog, Junie, is a clone of his late dog, Lua. Colossal Biosciences, which aims to, quote-unquote, fix extinction, among other goals, is said to be valued at $10 billion. Brady's an investor in the biotech startup. Look at Tom Brady. Leveraging his fame to help his company out.
I have absolutely no idea what they're talking about there.
Take a blood draw from your dog that's old, and they will clone a new dog that looks a lot like your old dog. Colossal Biosciences.
So does boy dog have to get with girl dog?
Nope. Sounds like it's Petri dish time.
Again, I have no idea what that means.
DJ and PK.
Hashtag college football.
PK, there are multiple reports out there that L.J. Martin's going to play against Texas Tech. Do you believe that?
Yes.
Excellent. Going to need all your guys if you're going to beat Texas Tech, right? Best not to go into that one shorthanded.
Well, I don't know that you're going to have all your guys, but you're going to need as many guys as you can get out there.
Yeah.
I mean, both teams got guys that aren't going to play that are good players. Yeah. I mean, this is standard procedure for every team, every game, certainly at this point in the season.
The initial college football playoff rankings are out. BYU, number 7. That's one spot higher than they had been in the AP. And Texas Tech is 8, which is one spot higher. Oregon is a team that is a little lower in the old college football rankings than they are in AP. And Utah in at number 13.
Yeah, we just touch on these things here as we breeze
We got to
through.
spend a full segment on this, right?
I'll take my victory lap here shortly.
BYU would host number 10 seed Notre Dame in a first-round game in Provo, if things stay the way they are, which probably won't happen. But Colorado announced they're making another quarterback change with freshman Julian Juju Lewis set to become the Buffs' starting quarterback, replacing Caden Salter as QB1 in Boulder. DJ and PK.
Hashtag Major League Baseball.
San Diego Padres right-hander Yu Darvish will miss next season. He had Tommy John surgery. Darvish, 39 years old, halfway through a 6-year, $108 million deal. 5-5 this past year. Apparently going to go 0-0 in 2026. And PK, what are your hopes for that 2027 season? Not good, right?
Oh, you're talking about him individually or the season itself?
Well, the season itself. I mean, if he's going to miss 26, and then if we're going to have a labor stoppage in 27, depending on how long it goes, and he could miss 2 seasons, depending on what happens that season.
Yeah, I guess so.
Right-handed pitcher Shane Bieber opting into a $16 million player option to stay with Toronto. Detroit right-hander Jack Flaherty opted into his $20 million player option. And shortstop Trevor Story opted to stay put in Boston. Hot stove news.
I'd opt in for $20 million too.
Yeah, that's a good decision. DJ and PK.
Hashtag golf.
The LIV Tour, shifting from a 54-hole 3-day tournament format to the more traditional 72-hole 4-day tournament in 2026, a shift that Rory McIlroy called a peculiar move.
He did?
I don't know how peculiar it is. I mean, people don't largely seem that satisfied with it. They got to do something to shake it up. I don't know if that's enough, but not surprising they would be tweaking what they're doing.
Enough for what?
Enough to get more attention and get more people watching them, get more people at the tournament, get better ratings. I mean, they have slowly leveraged a better broadcast position.
Is that their goal?
I think their goal is to be more popular, and I think that would help. But I don't know that this is enough. I mean, it seems like the PGA Tour has the upper hand here. We'll see what players do when they, as their contracts come up.
Yeah, I mean, aren't they just playing for the money, and the money's unlimited? I mean, are they doing it to try to make a profit?
I would think eventually that the tour owners, I think eventually they would want to make a profit. I doubt they want to lose money forever and be viewed as a secondary tournament forever. Maybe they do.
I thought they didn't care. I thought they were doing it for other purposes.
DJ and PK.
Hashtag NHL.
Nice play by Marino to pass it to himself. He lays it back. Keller across. Smoltz shoots and scores! Nick Smoltz puts Utah in front, but the Sabres have the puck in overtime. Dahlin lays it back. McLeod walks it down the far wall. McLeod, tuck, shoots. Glove save by Karel Vejmelka, and he sets it down for Sergachev. Utah has possession now. Keller in the offensive zone. He has an assist here tonight. Keller on the attack, skates downhill, and scores! The captain says goodnight in Buffalo. Clayton Keller, 2 points tonight, 2 points for the Mammoth.
Utah Mammoth, a 2-1 overtime win. They beat the Sabres in Buffalo. Clayton Keller literally skating circles out there around people and then blowing by everybody in, walking in on the goaltender and scoring to win it. And they pick up the 2 points and they end the losing streak. 47 seconds into overtime. Mammoth are back at it tonight in Toronto. Feeling a good back-to-back W here? 4 points, 2 games on the road?
I don't see why not. They're a good team, man. Obviously, this is what they talked about. And I really like the overtime in the NHL and with that going on there.
Yeah. Taking a skater off the ice, opening things up. I don't think Clayton Keller could have done that with more bodies on the ice. But with more space, he was pretty elusive, and he's just spinning around out there. It was awesome.
I mean, for entertainment purposes.
Yeah.
I'm speaking just from my perspective for entertainment purposes and what is fun to watch. That's really all I care about when I turn on the television when it comes to sports. What for me is fun to watch. And that is fun to watch. And to see him and do his thing and have that space. And, I mean, these guys are so shifty and talented and quick and controlled and to be able to do all these things, I could probably, give me a couple minutes, I could probably think of 4 or 5 different other words to come up with. And, you're just thinking, okay, this is – I really enjoy it. It's almost like a home run derby where they really care about it. Like, didn't we have that this year in the All-Star game? Was there some tie, if I remember, and – they put guys up there, and the players are standing next to home plate, and that's what it was. And Schwarber hit 3 or 4 of them, didn't they? They were just so excited. It just seemed like it's so entertaining, and it's different, and compared to what they normally have, right? And so I just enjoy it, and that was fun to watch. And then, obviously Keller's really good, and he can do a lot of different things there.
Vejmelka outstanding in goal again. Had a couple of great saves there, and his save percentage 94%. He's been awesome. They are rolling, and we'll see. That opens up a 4-game road trip. Toronto today, 5 o'clock as they go back to back, and you can hear that. That'll be on 1280 The Zone, while the Jazz game will be on 97.5 The Zone. Wait a minute. Sort it out for me, Yak.
So Jazz on 97.5, we have USU Coaches Show on 1280, and then there'll be the Mammoth on 127 HD2.
My bad. All right. What is trending?
How do you keep track of all that?
Well, clearly I don't, is the answer to that.
Right.
What is trending?
That's not your job, though.
What is trending is brought to you by Shamrock Plumbing. There's no job too big or too small. Get the personal touch with Shamrock Plumbing. All right, coming up, Riley Jensen's going to be here at 8 o'clock, his weekly visit. We'll talk college football with him. Brian Jensen, the play-by-play voice of the Texas Tech Red Raiders, will join us at 9 o'clock. It's a Win Tickets Wednesday. Caller 12 will win a 4-pack of tickets to step into the magic at Holiday Lights at the ballpark at America First Square, a brand-new immersive holiday tradition opening on November 14th. You can reserve your tickets at the ballpark at the ballpark at afs.com. We'll give those tickets away. Coming up in the 8 o'clock hour. DJ and PK, the question of the day, is next.
This is JJ and Alex.
I got this.
Is Bear more consistent than Jake Retzlaff has been?
Yes, 100%.
Is it a more impressive thing what he's doing this year, not just because of the freshman part, but because of the actual performance part?
Yes, 100%. Jake Retzlaff had to go through a period of learning, growth, gaining experience at the Power 4 level. Bear Bachmeier, he didn't have that chance. And he was thrown into the fire this year, and he has been unbelievable when you consider the circumstances. If Bear was a senior quarterback and he'd been playing 3 years and he had these type of stats and production, you're like, yeah, that's okay. When you consider he's a true freshman who transferred here, didn't even get spring ball, and he's doing what he's doing for this team and leading comeback after comeback after comeback, how can you not be blown away by what he's doing? He's leading. This is not just a freshman getting the job done. He's leading.
Catch JJ and Alex afternoons from 3 to 7 on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
DJ and PK, it's time for Hot Takes or Toast. The first college football playoff rankings are out. Utah's 13, Texas Tech's 8, BYU is 7. That'd be a home game in Provo. How you rolling with the first poll? What are you thinking? You finding this acceptable? Or not good enough? Or it doesn't matter because it's just the first poll and you're worried about where this is going? So many options for our listeners, PK. And Leroy, let's get through the weekend and then see how we feel. Leroy's celebrating nothing yet. He's a little focused on the game Saturday morning. Gabe, believe it looks good. How awesome would it be to have 3 teams from the Big 12 in the playoffs? Mark, seems fair at this point in time, and it makes Saturday even more important.
Well, I don't know that it makes Saturday even more important. I think Saturday always is extremely important. I'm not sure how it makes it more important. BYU and Texas Tech, I think we all believed were going to be in the top 10, and obviously they are, sure. And the 7 gets you the home game, but it's not like it's meaningless. It's a great starting point. But both teams still have plenty of work to do. I think the thing that the biggest news that I took out of this was that Utah is right there, and they very well could get in. And I wrote about it. Took some of the comments I looked at. There was a lot of grief, and it was published yesterday. And
you
sure enough,
feel a little vindicated by that number 13.
Yeah, I mean, they're not expected to lose. So they're on the brink, obviously. They're right there on deck at 13, right? Because it's a 12-team playoff. And if they don't lose, are they going to get in? Yeah, I think there's a decent chance. That's what I said. That was the purpose of the whole story. And they're, as long as they do what we expect them to do, I don't know that they don't get in. I think that they have an excellent chance. The Big 12 was respected immensely. It was respected immensely over the ACC, and I told you yesterday, I don't see why. I don't care what happened last year. It's what happens this year, and next year is what happens next year. And they are greatly respected far more than the ACC, and I can argue that they are greatly respected more than the Big Ten. You're sitting there looking at SC and Iowa and Michigan, all of the Big Ten from 19 to 21, and they have the same amount of losses as Utah, and Utah is significantly ranked higher than them. So I don't know that the Big 12 could have asked for more. This was a bonanza for them. It looks like, and obviously we still have 4 more weeks to go, that 3 more weeks, whatever it might be. That
depending on the team, 3 or 4 games.
Yeah, right. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's why I said.
Yeah,
depending on that is my point. Depending on
five with the conference championships. But anyway, go ahead. We derailed.
Yeah, but I wonder how much those factor into it. But the idea of getting at least 2 in there looks very, very strong, and the possibility of getting 3 at the expense of a Big Ten or SEC team. Oh my gosh, we would have a national convention then. Something would just be turned upside down if the Big 12 got 3. But right now, this morning, this is what they're looking at. I don't see Utah losing. And they could, I guess, sure. They could lose to Baylor. They obviously the Utes are off this week, and then they come back here a week and a half and play at down in Waco. And who knows? Baylor's a decent enough team that if they win a football game in conference against anybody in conference, I don't think any of us are just, wow, that was just totally shocking beyond belief, that type of mindset. I don't see that at all. And so with that in mind here, they had a great day. That was the story of the day if you're looking for individuals, because everything else, the top 6, I think, were all predictable, right? And I can argue actually probably the top 7 or 8. And, we had discussions of Oregon being
how are they
ahead.
Oregon? Yeah.
But I don't see why they should have been ahead.
They should not have been. They're not. I think the committee got them in a pretty good spot right there. The next team you drop them below is Notre Dame. Well, Notre Dame's got 2 losses and Oregon's got 1. Oregon is a little tricky to judge because they got strength of schedule issues, but it's just the way their schedule is built. And this last month, they're playing a bunch of good teams, some on the road, some at home. Iowa, USC, Washington, all on their schedule, all ranked. Yeah. None of them high.
Those are fine teams.
But all of them sitting in the 6-2. Well, actually, all of them are exactly 6-2 right now. So. Right. A lot of that could be, Oregon could plummet with bad results, and Oregon could climb with good results. So we'll see how that plays out. I was encouraged by how close Utah was. Now, when you look at the schedules down the stretch, you think, what is the path to, get them in, and B, get them in not at the expense of another Big 12 team? How do you get 3 in? That gets a little tricky. There is a path there, and I think the most likely path is Notre Dame screws up a game down the stretch. That seems like the simplest explanation for how does Utah get in. Texas and Oklahoma have big games that they could lose. So that's how Utah jumps those teams.
But I don't think Utah has to worry about any of that because something will happen.
Do you think any of the SEC? Because I thought the big winner for a conference was the SEC. The SEC is poised to get in 4 teams, maybe 5.
Yeah, but they always are. The big winner? I could have told you 10 years ago that they were the big winner.
Agreed, but they're still the big winner.
But they're always going to be the big winner. That's understood.
Two of the 4 buys, 2 of the 4 home games, not just 4 in, but 4 well in. And Alabama did get forgiven that Florida State loss. Don't worry about it. Alabama will take care of you.
But that was a virtual lock. I can't get something that I expected to consider them the big winner. No, I think that the Big 12 was the big winner. That was the surprise. At this point, I don't see how Utah doesn't get in.
Oregon and Notre Dame went out. BYU and Texas Tech play a close game and then play another close game in the conference title game, and there just isn't much movement.
That's the only way. But what are the chances of that happening? That everything stays the same?
You'd like to think there's going to be November chaos. Notre Dame will be favored in all these games, but, man, teams lose. They get upset, And Pitt does seem to be the biggest challenge, but maybe, who knows? Navy's taken them down a couple times. Maybe Navy plays the game of their life, and Notre Dame turns it over 3 or 4 times.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm Utah, I'm not worried about any of that.
Oregon could be a spot. Clearly, they're going to Iowa as soon as this week. They could take a second loss and plummet. So that could be a spot right there.
You didn't even mention Oklahoma, who's right ahead of them. And
I did mention Oklahoma. I said Texas,
Alabama, Missouri, and LSU.
Texas.
They're not going to go 3-0.
I said Texas and Oklahoma are playing ranked teams. It's easy to see them losing. I did say that.
I apologize deeply.
Texas has Georgia, and Oklahoma has Alabama. And it'd be interesting to see if they do win those games, how far do the other teams fall? But I'm with you. I find it hard to believe that Texas and Oklahoma are going to run the table here. They've made it this far, and, man, Texas has been, living on the edge multiple times, and they keep finding a way. But they got to play both Georgia and Texas A&M. Those are huge tests. I would think they get a 3rd loss, and I wouldn't think a 3-loss team is getting in.
So tell me how Utah's not in.
Oregon and Notre Dame win out. Or somebody else below them in the Big Ten who has a tough schedule. What happens if Michigan wins out and beats Ohio State? Do they go flying up and jump over people, including Utah?
Not over Utah, no.
Man, I have a hard time believing Michigan with 10-2 and a win over Ohio State gets left out.
Fine, but that has nothing to do with Utah.
Well, if they jump over them, maybe they take the spot that's created when an Oregon loses or a Notre Dame loses.
And so Utah's not going to jump even higher? And obviously they would have to jump higher to get in. Utah is primed in a great spot. I could argue they're in a better spot than BYU.
Because of their schedule down the stretch?
Yes, obviously.
Will BYU be punished if they lose to Texas Tech? Will they be punished that heavily, you think?
No, it would be Cincinnati.
Oh, they could get
TCU.
Punished if they lose them both. Yeah.
Or TCU, which is not a walk in the park. That's not a guarantee that you are going to beat TCU. This is not West Virginia or Colorado, and I realize that they went right down to the end against Colorado. But that was a month ago, and Bachmeier from September, November. Obviously, his trend is going upward and up and up, and it seems like each week, each big game, he's getting better and better. So you have to you can't just look at, well, they played Colorado close. Yeah, well, they played Colorado close on the road a few weeks back. Colorado didn't realize how bad they were and all that stuff that goes into it. So with that in mind, looking at who Utah has to play, I thought Utah, to me, was clearly the best Big 12 winner, to be right on the doorstep with a much easier schedule down the stretch
than the teams in front of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm not giving them the win over Baylor. That would be disrespectful to Baylor. And it's not a trap game. I mean, they know Baylor's good and has the ability to, as I said earlier, literally beat anyone in this league. And it's not a shocking tear down the goalpost, run down Main Street win if they should get that. From the Baylor perspective, I wouldn't think. I know fans now, everybody wants to storm the field and all. It's kind of become a cliche thing to do in terms of an activity, is to storm the field now. But so be it. It's kids and they want to have fun, and everybody else is doing it. It's like the announcements, at Iggy's or at the high school gym and all. I remember talking to Chris Burgess about that very thing, and he had an announcement at the school, and he said his buddy Shane Battier did it. So it became the thing to do, right? And so the point I'm making is Baylor, they may go crazy if they win that game, but I just don't see where that's a stunning upset next week if Baylor were to beat Utah. So that's going to be a tough game, but I always had that as circled as a tough game. I just think the Utes now, man, they just got to take care of business, and dominoes above them will fall. It's just, to me, you just look at it and you go, well, if this team loses to that team, but I think it's more than that. What is the committee willing to do? Are they willing to take out an Oklahoma or a Texas and replace them with a Utah? Obviously, Texas and Oklahoma are much bigger brands, and they have to play Alabama and Georgia. And if that game goes into overtime, say, and Texas and or Oklahoma lose, is that enough to drop them? It's not simply if they get a loss, because if you lose those games and they're hotly contested right to the end, blah, 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 the committee have the guts to take that and drop them a little bit and just put them on the outside, knowing how much pressure there would be from the SEC. So I think politics are involved to one degree or another. Once you open it up to a vote, it's never going to be in its purest form, right? And so that makes me wonder what would happen under those circumstances. Now, if either of those teams go out and lose, 42-10, that's another story, right? But I do think style points matter, and you can gain style points in a loss. I think we all see.
Well, I think Utah did both. I think Utah's done both those things. I think the only way you put Utah at 13, which obviously they just did, is you have to look closer than the final score and say, all right, well, the Tech game wasn't that lopsided. That was actually pretty competitive. That was a 3-point game with 10 minutes to go. And you have to look at the 7 wins and say, those aren't just 7 wins. Those are 7 wins mostly by 30 points. They just seem to be beating everybody by 30.
Yeah.
And there's no other reason that they would have ended up where they've ended up if the committee didn't look at those 2 things. I mean, the BYU game's easy to see on its face. Okay, that was a 3-point game. And if you look closer to that one, okay, that had a lead change. It's a 3-point game with 2 lead changes in the fourth quarter. That seems to me to be the easiest thing to pick out there. That's interesting about would a 3-loss team get in? Because we've only had one of these and no 3-loss teams got in, and they did draw the line on Alabama. But to your point about what does the 3rd loss look like, Alabama's 3rd loss last year was ugly. And the committee did get a lot of heat, and, you won't do that again. I mean, I don't know. We all have our conspiracy theories on what may or may not go on over the phone or behind closed doors. But your point, Alabama's 3rd loss last year was to an Oklahoma team that was exceedingly mediocre. This Oklahoma team looks much better than last year's, and it was decisive. It was a 20-point loss. So it wasn't just a 3rd loss. It was a 3rd ugly loss, a bad loss to a decisive loss to a mediocre team. It was definitely a bad loss.
Yeah. And they're already politicking. I saw Sarkisian talking about should a 9-3 SEC team be in, and obviously you know where he's going to come down on. Of course, he's going to look for his own interest and his conference's issues. Interest, I should say. So with that in mind. Yeah, there's going to be that politicking between now and when the final thing is released. The Sunday after the final games there in December, and the next 4 weeks is going to be a campaign. Apparently, we had an election yesterday. Well, now we're going to have another one here in another month.
Sarkisian's
they're going to politic all along the way.
Yeah, Sarkisian's case, which is actually based on things I've said in the past, pretty strong, is we got 2 losses, and we could get a 3rd here, but the 3rd loss would be to a top 5 team. We've beaten another top 12 team, and we only have 3 losses because we were willing to go to Ohio State. We could have scheduled ourselves a win right there, and then we'd only be on 2. So if you want those big games played, you better not penalize teams for playing them. It was a 7-point game on the road in the season opener. That's about as strong a case as you can make for a 3-loss team, right? I mean, the Florida thing, he's deflecting. Don't look at Florida. That was ugly. But Ohio State and presumably Georgia or Texas A&M. I mean, it'll be a 3-loss team is they'd have to get another big win and then lose one of those as well.
I think that the point that they make, you used a lot of words, the point that they will make is we're the SEC and you're not.
That too, yes. We're the SEC, you're not, and we had the guts to go to Ohio State. So don't penalize us. None of these other pansies took that chance. But you're right.
But I mean, Alabama didn't go to Ohio State last year, and they still pitched a fit. So go to wherever you want to go. We're the SEC. You couldn't survive this schedule with 2 losses, and so this is what you need to do. We're the biggest brands. We're going to benefit. We're going to make the most money. People go. Who wants to see Utah? Who wants to see Texas? Well, the majority of the country is going to come down on the side of Texas. That's just the reality of it. So the scheduling is almost irrelevant because if they would have lost 3 conference games, the point would still be the same.
And Oklahoma will be out there celebrating that win over Michigan, depending on how Michigan plays down the stretch. That'll be their big win to hang their hat on. And presumably they'd have to get another one. They got Alabama and Missouri coming up. All right, DJ and PK, it's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Riley Jensen, college football expert and middle performance coach, is here at the top of the hour. Stay with us.
It's game week for the Cougars, and the KSL Sports Zone is getting you ready for kickoff. It's the biggest game of the year for BYU as the undefeated and top 10 ranked Cougars head to Lubbock for a showdown against the Red Raiders. Listen all week long for the best coverage of Cougar football. Then catch a special edition of College Football Saturday game day at 8 a.m. with the postgame show immediately following the game on KSLSports.com. Your home for the best coverage of BYU football is live on air, online, and on the KSL Sports app. This is 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Music of the day, Brian Adams celebrating his birthday, brought to you by Live Nation. For all the live concert events in 2025, check out livenation.com. PK, can we remember something for 3 days?
Like what?
A show topic? A segment topic? Or should we just do it now? David Locke is pointing out that there's a bunch of quote-unquote, star players available in trades. Should the Jazz go for it or should they wait? I thought it was a pretty easy wait. You want to just take the pop quiz?
Go ahead.
Zion Williamson, hamstring injury, out for about 10 days, maybe more. I guess reevaluate in a week or so. Zion Williamson, available. Trade or wait?
Pass.
Yeah, okay. Trae Young.
Discuss it. Consider it.
Ja Morant.
Pass.
I was going to pass on all three, so we can discuss quickly Trae Young.
What am I giving up?
An excellent question. I assume they would want to go into the Jazz draft picks. I don't know what they think about younger players, so that who would they want thrown in going the other way?
Right now, I think you go George, Kessler, Markkanen. Aren't they the three most marketable players?
Yeah, I would think so. Markkanen's the best scorer. Kessler's the best defensive presence. Since Quinn Snyder was here and we saw what he did with Rudy Gobert, I could see why he might look at Kessler and be super intrigued. Not exactly the same player, but close enough to intrigue him.
Yeah, I understand.
I would say that a small, undersized guard, and the goal is to win a championship, and it's really, really hard to do with those guys. So I would say 3 passes. But I guess you're right about I don't guess you're right. I know you're right as far as if you're Austin Ainge, you absolutely take the phone call and start talking and see what they think about players. And it doesn't mean that you pull the trigger on this deal. It's out there, and you can see where it goes. There's always a chance for a 3-way deal down the line. You never know if you don't talk to people. So I don't have a problem with the talking.
No, I would think that you would talk
a lot.
Yeah, I don't know if the word constantly, maybe frequently is the better word, and see what's available. What are you thinking? What are they thinking? And go from there. I mean, it's the classic last year blockbuster. And we know what that blockbuster was between Dallas and the Lakers, right? That seems like, well, you want Doncic? Yeah, click.
But you better call and ask about Doncic because you never know. There might be
right. And so things can go from there. I don't know. Maybe Oklahoma City wouldn't just disconnect the phone for the next 3 years because it looks like they've got things set up pretty good here. But everybody else should be in the discussion mode, I would think, and go from that. You never know what's going to lead to something's going to lead to something else, lead to that. And I mean, there's all sorts of directions that things can go. So I would even take the phone calls on the other two guys that you mentioned. It just seems like Zion is constantly injured, and Morant is a wild talent, no doubt about it. But we're getting into stuff that get in the way of winning. And personalities and family. This has been going on with him for years, but we keep making apologies for him and want to say, oh, well, that's not really who this young man is. But it's happened in different aspects of it, in different forms of it now, several times. So really, is this who this young man is, or is it not who this young man is, right? Because we've had multiple issues and variety of issues, not the same issue each time. But his talent is why he's still in the league. If he was a marginal talent, of course, if he was a marginal talent, he wouldn't be doing all this stuff because it's amazing how guys who are marginal talents usually end up being low-maintenance guys because they understand I don't have the game to be all this trouble.
Yeah. I think that the argument for taking the New Orleans calls, even though it's easy to say, no, not Zion, is New Orleans made a couple trades that could charitably be described as lopsided. So you would talk to them because you don't know what kind of crazy trade you might be able to fall into. I mean, they had 2 number 1 picks. They've dealt them both, their own and another one. Maybe I can explain one of those trades a little easier than the other, but I'd keep talking in New Orleans. You might end up with something lopsided in your favor. It's happened before. It might happen again. All right, we got to take a break. When we come back, Riley Jensen, college football expert and mental performance coach, BYU, Texas Tech. We're talking with him about the big game Saturday morning. That's next. Stay with us.